I have had a video suggestion, an email from a Lord Bacon. I don't think that's not his real name. He's not a real lord. It's not any more than Sir West Ham Fan 66, who watches our videos, is a real peer of the realm. He certainly hasn't been knighted by Her Majesty. But I thank you for your email, Lord Bacon. And what it pertains to is Sebastien Haller, and a very nice and a very timely observation and suggestion, may I say. And he reminded me of something in an email, and he said something occurred to me the other day before the Newcastle game. It was an article I read shortly after we'd signed Haller. I have a feeling it was Danny Mills, but I cannot remember exactly. However, it said that Karen Brady had stated that we were going to build the team around Sebastien Haller. Bang on. And I'd forgotten it as well, but I also do remember that. Now, of course, Lady Brady, who is a genuine lady, by the way, she's not a fake lord like you are, Lord Bacon. Lady Brady, the former Baroness, has a history of maybe saying things that don't actually happen. So for her to say that we were going to build the team around Sebastien Haller, what would she know? She doesn't get involved in the football stuff anyway. And as I say, she's quite good at saying stuff like that anyway, isn't she? But putting that to one side, in the email, his lordship has gone on to make a couple of very good points. Number one, he said that he knows that Haller was impressed with Diangana, was eager to play with him. He also goes on and makes the point. He said there's also Mikel Antonio. He said Haller enjoyed playing with him at Southampton. Saints, they're not real saints, by the way, Southampton, not genuine saints. No miracle has happened. Anyway, Haller enjoyed playing with Mikel Antonio against Southampton, and he didn't remember seeing it again. Which is the point. And it's a point I wanted to make, because I also remember the very interview that Lord Bacon is referring to. And also, we only have to go back a little bit in history just to go back to what Sebastien Haller said, which was he was looking forward to playing Grady Diangana. And that he was looking forward to getting the service from him. They seem to have a little bit of ESP, extrasensory perception going on. They knew where each other were. Now, we go back to Sebastien Haller at Frankfurt and how he was supported by players being close to him and how he was supplied with the football. And we haven't been doing that at West Ham. And I've stated before, we do have a very recent history of buying players, good players, without really knowing what to do with them. And in particular, strikers, because it wasn't that long ago that we were saying we needed a striker. We needed a striker to score goals. We were desperate for one. And you cast your mind back to the links with Lacazette and then Carlos Bacca. And we really needed a striker for ages. And we actually did get one in Chicharito Javier Hernandez. And we didn't know what to do with him. Now, there was nothing wrong with Javier Hernandez. There was something wrong with West Ham, because he's a very, very good player. And I make this video the day after we've just beaten Charlton. And I know Charlton is not a fantastic barometer by which to measure the abilities of a player. But Haller looked good doing what he does. And I want to go back to this Diangana thing, with Haller saying he was looking forward to playing with Diangana because they seem to have a bit of an understanding. And then you look at what Lord Bacon says about Antonio and them having an understanding. Basically, it would be advantageous to play them together because they seem to link well. Well, it was quite funny, actually, because when I was watching that game against Charlton, I was watching Sebastien Haller and I was thinking, oh, he's really enjoying linking well with Lanzini here. They seem to have an understanding of pass and move and triangles, and Lanzini was always looking for him. And because Lanzini was always looking for him, Haller was always looking to make a run in and run in behind. And when he didn't make a run in behind, he would come short, give the ball back to Lanzini, and then move quite safe in the knowledge that he would get the return pass from Lanzini. It's just a confidence that comes from playing with players and alongside players that are on the same wavelength as you. I'm not going to compare Sebastien Haller to Paolo Di Canio, but I only make this point in as much as I used to watch Di Canio, and I used to watch Di Canio getting frustrated because a lot of players he played alongside weren't on the same wavelength as him. He would do something, he would give them the ball, he'd go and do something else, and he wonder why could you not see what I was doing? Why could you not tell that I wanted it back in that particular area? So, bright players are like that, and Sebastien Haller expects the ball back, and often he doesn't get it. And I think a large reason that he doesn't get it is not because he's desperate to play alongside Grady Diangana or Mikel Antonio or anything like that. We just don't get players close enough to him. We're not utilising his assets. Now, I'll go back to the game again against Charlton. And what I just said about Lanzini also applies to Yarmolenko. And I'm watching the game, and I'm seeing Yarmolenko constantly looking for Sebastien Haller. Now, we've got to remember, whilst Yarmolenko's been our player for a couple of seasons, we haven't actually seen very much of him. We think we know him, but how much do we actually know? Because you watch a little bit of Yarmolenko and you very quickly come to the conclusion that he just wants to shift it onto his left foot and have a shot. But there is a little bit more to him than that. You don't get to score whatever it is, 38 goals in 80 games. So like basically a goal every other game in international football without having more than one string to your bow. And he's an intelligent player. And I was looking at the way he was trying to link up with Haller. And if yes, whilst he will try and move it onto his left and have a shot, if he thought Sebastien Haller was in a good position, he would cross it with his right foot and he would try and play the ball into him. And this happened on a number of occasions. And because Haller was aware of that, you could see Haller was more motivated. So he's moving around. And all of a sudden, you've got Manuel Lanzini and Yarmolenko both really interesting. Haller's thinking, hold on, I'm going to get something here. And he looked not like a totally different player, but he just looked like what he was, which was a striker who was happy to operate within the confines of the box and score some goals. Now, it doesn't just stop there. There were a couple of occasions when Ben Johnson got forward as well. And again, I thought Haller was looking really lively. It's like he came alive because he thought and he knew he was going to get the ball. I would involve Cullen in all the things I've just said as well. Where we kept the ball, we retained the ball. We not only did we tick it over nicely, we moved the ball quickly. And I think here's the key: we moved the ball quickly, and we were prepared to feed Haller. When I look at it, I look at us on a lot of occasions. We're quite ponderous in the way we move the ball. We move the ball quite slowly, and Haller's very isolated. And our goals generally haven't come from supplying what would be a traditional centre forward. Even post lockdown, we weren't creating those sorts of goals. And then you look at the prospect of Antonio coming back, and then go to the second half again against Charlton. Once Felipe Anderson got back into the game, Haller suddenly had some supply from the left. I'll also feed Masuaku into that. I'm not suggesting this should be our team, by the way, to supply Sebastien Haller. I'm just making a point. It's purely about the striker. And there were a couple of occasions when Masuaku shot, which I thought he just wanted the glory. But had that been somebody else to the cross, you'd have had a constant stream, a constant supply chain from both sides. And he was motivated by that. And I do think it's key that we do try and motivate this player and we do try and get the best out of him. For a long time, going back to my point at the start of the video, we were waiting for a striker that were banging the goals. Everybody in the league wants a striker that can score 15 to 20 goals. I do think Chicharito played every game during his first season with us, his second season, with the correct support. His goals to minutes were excellent, by the way. I think he would have got 15 to 20 goals. I genuinely do. But I also think we've got another one now. And it's not like me saying something that is unfounded, something that can't be supported with evidence, something that's a hunch. Not like me saying, oh, I think Xande Silva can score 20 goals. Well, what would be my evidence for suggesting that? But when we bought a £45 million striker, we got a striker with a very particular set of skills. I sound like Liam Neeson from Taken, don't I? But without the sinister overtones and the expertise as an assassin. Aside from that, I sounded a bit like him. He's got a very particular set of skills. And we need to supply him. And we need to get the best out of him. And more importantly, we need to play him. And we need to construct the team to get that out of him and keep him motivated. Because when I actually looked at him, I think if we did that, he may be able to get us 15 league goals a season. And 15 league goals in a season is massive for a club like West Ham. 15 goals a season makes a difference between us being in and around the relegation zone and us being mid-table. 15 goals are huge in the Premier League. What do we need to do to get the best out of him? Well, get players in and around him who interest him. And this is what I say. So much has been made about the Diangana. He needed Diangana. No, I don't think he did. And don't get me wrong, I wanted to keep Diangana. I wanted him to stay. But actually, I think it doesn't matter. What he needs is bright players who are going to support him around him. Look at the position that Lanzini was taking up in that game, and then look at the position that Mark Noble took up in the Newcastle game. If you're going to play a number 10, get him near the striker. Well, that's pretty much what Lanzini was doing all game. You want to supply him? Whether it's Diangana or it's not Diangana, get a supply chain to him. Gio mentioned it in a couple of the videos. Find a way to get Yarmolenko and Bowen both in the team. If you do that, you're gonna not only you're gonna get a supply chain to Sebastien Haller, you're gonna get people running off of him as well, and you're gonna get them involved. They're gonna feel that they can give him the ball and make the run off of him, and we get shots as a result. So going back to Lord Bacon's initial email from his lordship, I think he made some really, really good points. And the initial one was in reference to Karen Brady saying the team was going to be built around Sebastien Haller. Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't think she's got anything to do with it at all. I think she was just saying whatever comes out of her mouth as she does. Did she really know about the tactics of the football team or anything like that? No, she didn't. But whether she knew or whether she didn't know, we should have been building the team around him, and we should be able to build the team around him. He's a £45 million striker at West Ham United. So if we haven't built a team around him from now, bearing in mind he's our record signing, maybe we should start.